Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the PHNX Suns Podcast. I'm Lindsay. That's Gerald. That's Espo. Saul is back in Vegas.
Again. He
Blessings.
didn't get enough.
He left his liver there. He had to go back and pick it up.
I would be happy to never go back to Vegas ever again in my life after that one.
I'm back there in 2 weeks, but
Are
it's only
you?
for one night for a concert,
Oof.
and I'm home.
Okay,
so-
you
Listen,
can get out.
Yeah.
The thing that, like, I never actually gave the rundown of Vegas, and I'm not going to go full into it, but the one thing I will say about Circa is that the elevators are so fast, which in a normal setting is fantastic. But when you're having ear issues, is awful. And I feel like it made it so much worse.
Have you been in the elevator in the Luxor?
No.
It's
Oh,
fast,
yeah.
and it goes
Like
Oh,
diagonal.
sideways.
yeah, that
It's
would've
very
been-
uncomfortable.
That would have been awful. The
Yeah.
amount of pressure from how fast those elevators went in my ears was
Well,
not a great
When
time.
we went to the 60th floor, I
That-
thought you were going to cry.
I literally was. I
I like-
wanted to cry.
yeah,
And then when we came down, I wanted to throw up.
Yeah.
It was like crying on the way up, nauseous on the way down. I was like, somebody please take me
It
home.
was like taking a 5-year-old on a roller coaster.
Basically.
A boulder coaster.
But it
A
was
roller
just an
coaster.
elevator.
I found the shirt that I didn't wear in Vegas and decided to
The
break it
banana
out today.
ones?
Very
I,
nice.
I
Banana
like
shirt.
the banana
so,
ones.
yeah.
Shocker, Espo sang the banana song before this.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
Unreal.
This shirt is bananas. Anyways.
Yep, exactly. You guys are welcome for that one. All right, let's get into some Suns talk today. We got a video from Deandre Ayton. Just, what was that, yesterday or the
Yeah,
day before?
yesterday. It was yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
Can't even remember.
Well, you guys know which one we're talking about. If you don't, we're going to play it for you. Now we'll talk about it.
I can feel the whole world hating me, in a way, where I think I'm the guy a lot of people point at, and I see it and feel it. But mainly, what I've been working on 5 to 6 days a week since we've lost is just motivating myself to change the narrative of what people think about me. You know, because no matter how you put it, I feel like I have no fans out here. You know, and I could feel it because the whole world's saying it. And my goal this whole summer is to change the narrative. Just unlock whatever it is and just completely just focus on me and change the whole thing.
So we got this video from DA first, obviously a little bit more of a somber feel to it. Before we share our opinions, James Jones was asked about DA's comments, and here's what he had to say.
That's just DA speaking candidly. I do know he's been in the gym relentlessly this summer, working on all those things that he talked about. He, like all the rest of us, we have a chip on our shoulders. We felt like last year we had an opportunity that we didn't capitalize on, and that we need to be better. And if we are better, and if we all come back this season in the best form and in the best shape, that we give ourselves a legitimate shot to win a title. And so he understands what's in front of us. And I think that's him maturing and understanding that in order for us to be an elite team, he has to take another step forward.
Frank.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So DA got real candid.
Mm-hmm.
James Jones understands it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see what comes from all of this.
I took this in a different way than a lot of people, I think. And to me, that felt drastically different than what we've heard from DA in the past. And I know, Gerald, you said at times you saw him like this in the locker room. This is the first time, to me, this feels more, I don't know if downtrodden's the right word, but mental health is very close, near and dear to my heart due to some things that family members have gone through. And when I see a guy sitting there talking the way he is, talking about the entire world hating him, I turn to the personal side. I don't think basketball. I don't think, oh, if only the guy worked harder, which are all valid criticisms of the professional, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I hear that, and I felt the human side of it, and almost the sad, like there was a sadness
It was sad.
to it.
Like when I first watched it, I was like, man, that's sad.
And it reminds me that these athletes are human, and that while we feel like we're saying things into a vacuum sometimes, right? That we're talking about these entities that aren't human beings necessarily. They're just basketball players. No, they hear this. It does impact them. If he truly feels like there's nobody in his corner, that's not the easiest place to be in, regardless of if you have $33 million a year
It's
coming
also
away.
not the easiest place to get out of.
Yeah. And he's 24 still, right? He's a
Right.
guy trying to figure out how to make his way and make his mark in something. And I understand it. He has a world of talent. He has a world of ability. He hasn't put it together. I understand all those things, and that is in part on him. But man, still being 24, thinking that way, that's tough.
It's a complicated issue for me because there are very much two sides to this, and I agree with both of them. I do think if you go on Twitter and if you search Deandre Ayton's name, you're going to see a lot of criticism of his game, which I think is fair, and you're going to see a lot of vile comments that cross the line and attack who he is as a person, his mindset, his mentality. And that, for me, is why when in this job, you're going to have players that struggle. You're going to have players that don't play well. You're going to have guys even in the locker room that maybe aren't necessarily the best guys. For me, I have always tried to approach this job as just looking at the basketball side of the equation and never going at an athlete's personality or who they are, because these are guys that, I have to ask questions to. I have to write stories about. Sometimes they see some of the things you write or say about them. And for me, it's never a personal thing. So anytime that I've gotten up here and criticized DA, it's always been about his game. And I think if a lot of fans adopted that mindset, it would be a healthier place. But I also understand his feeling and the fans' feeling that he hasn't played up to par. And that's where a lot of the disappointment comes from. And I think he's definitely feeling the negativity from last season, from the last playoff run. And rightfully so, because we've talked about it on the show. He needs to be better. But the people that are coming after him personally, that is where I draw the line. That is where I have a problem. And that's where, as someone who talks to this guy on a pretty much a weekly basis, we did see him downtrodden like this multiple times last year, especially during that month-long stretch where the Suns just could not win a game. And him and Mikal were kind of being asked to step up as the number one or the number two option. You could tell it was weighing heavy on everybody's mind. Mikal, who's usually one of the most lively people in the locker rooms, was downtrodden. This feels similar to that. I think he's aware of the things that people have been saying about him. I think he's aware that a lot of Suns fans wanted him traded. And I do feel sorry for him on a human element. At the same time, if he comes out and does his job and plays well, and if Vogel can get through to him and he gets it together on the defensive end, a lot of that criticism is going to go away. The hate is not going to stop. And there are always going to be people that hate on you. We see it with Devin Booker, who's a certified superstar, an MVP candidate, and people are still going to find ways to hate on you. My thing is, you can silence a lot of the doubters, a lot of the skeptics, a lot of the critics by going out there and just rocking this season, because his role does not have to be a high volume role. It's not going to be one where he's getting a lot of usage. But if he's a star in his role, like Frank Vogel has talked about, if he locks in defensively, and if this team wins games, a lot of the stuff, a lot of the complaints that we heard last year, I think are going to go away.
And I agree with exactly what you're saying. It's fair to say Deandre Ayton, as a basketball player, has not lived up to what people expected, that he needs to be more consistent or be more aggressive on the court. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think there's a fair thing to say about it. What bothered me was how quick people would jump on him and just say, oh, he's just making excuses. He answered a question. He answered it honestly. He answered it stoically. This wasn't like, I'm a Tesla battery, or this wasn't some childish answer. This was a real, genuine answer. And I hate and I've talked about it before, the machismo angle. He's not man enough. This is just, this is childish or babyish. I don't like that to it, because this is a guy showing genuine human emotion.
Yeah.
And why do we have to turn that into something negative? He's not one dimensional.
He's also not a robot. He's a human freaking being.
Yeah, right. It's not one dimensional. That he's a three-dimensional, multi-level, multi-layer human being, where he can accept the criticism potentially and hate the fact that people can be downright awful online and awful in some of the things that are written, and it can be all those things. He can understand the criticism and still feel that way, and people can critique his game without having to attack the human being too. I don't understand that part of this, and that's what I feel for. I'm all for, if you have a problem with something in his game, criticize it. We've done it here. I've done it, and I'm fine with that. But when you take it to that next step, when you go beyond that, and all of a sudden it's about the man, who he is, he's not man enough, these kind of things, that drives me nuts.
I agree entirely. I feel like there is a line, and we've talked about this multiple times on the show, and it's not just with Suns, it's sports in general, it's a lot of things in life. There is a line that we should not cross, but because it's on the internet and people can hide behind that, or it's not a real life interaction, or you could put an egg as your picture or whatever, people cross the line too often. And because there's a couple of people in the chat who was like, is it hate or is it criticism? I would like to think that all of you listening are more on the criticism side of things when it comes to basketball. But to Gerald's point, if you just go and look on Twitter under Deandre Ayton and look at the mentions and the ats to him directly, it is hate. Like, it just is. And it's not okay. And we got to be more aware of that. I'm not trying to make this a whole philosophical, like, bigger picture thing, but obviously at the end of the day, there is a lesson here that we can all probably take away from it.
Right.
I just want us to give Deandre Ayton a chance under a new coaching regime. That's all I'm asking for. Like, I'm not saying we give him a pass or that we just, water under the bridge, clean slate, but kind of, to an extent. Give him a chance under a new coach, a coach who is very defensive minded and who works well with big men, who maybe could be a better fit for DA and maybe find that fire within Deandre and that we've all been kind of hoping to get from him. Yeah. That's all I'm asking for.
And I had asked him at exit interviews about handling the online criticism, and he had said something to the effect of, like, I don't pay attention to the peanut gallery. I just go out there and dominate. And it came off as a little bit tone deaf in terms of, like, man, look at the numbers you put up in the Nugget series. That wasn't dominating. But at the same time, I hope that he is staying off of socials, because, we on this show get our fair share of people that come in our mentions and say, you said this and that was wrong, or in the comments of the show, like, what are you talking about? That's stupid. And that has an effect on us, let alone an athlete who's nationally televised or on TV 82 times a year, who has to do these public media interviews that are all over Twitter all the time on a weekly basis. He gets a lot more hate than any of us could imagine, and it does have an effect on you. So I hope that he's able to stay off socials and only pay attention to the good stuff, the people that are in his corner, because a lot of people in Phoenix don't hate Deandre Ayton. No. A lot of them just want to see him be more focused, be more locked in. And I think it's fair to want that from a guy who's making max money, who's your number one pick, who's an intrinsic part of what you do, and who you've seen dominate before. And when he did dominate, you went to the finals. Like, that's the thing about this, is I don't think anybody that criticizes DA is rooting against him, or most of them. I think they just want to see him go back to that player and be what he's fully capable of being.
Look, and I respect anybody that has their own opinion on this, but for me, and I'll just be honest here. I'll be open and share a little bit. I've gone through serious depression. And I'm not saying Deandre has that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not any of that. But what I felt in that is I've had moments in my life where I just feel like everybody hates you, that there is nobody that's out there that's on your side, or that wants to be around you, or that cares at all. And if that's the kind of place he's in, that's a dark, awful place to be. And it doesn't matter if not everybody does, or if part of it's criticism and part of it's hate. If you're in that kind of place, it's just a terrible, shitty place to be. And when you have other factors piling on you, it sucks. So that's where I'm coming from. It was just, and I internally projected, I don't know what Deandre Ayton is really feeling or going through, but for me, that's what I felt through it, putting it through the prism of things I've been through in my life. And that's why I felt for him so much as a human being in this moment. And if you don't, jive with that, or it doesn't resonate with you, perfectly fine. But that was just where I was coming from.
Well, and a lot of people may not want to admit it, but like, it's obviously a thing, right? Because so many people have talked about it, whether you're in a front-facing position or just on social media. But you could post something on the internet and 100 people will be like, this is amazing, love it, fantastic, more. And one person will be like, I hate it.
Yeah.
And you focus on that one person who's like, I hate it, versus the hundreds of people who are telling you it's great, because that's just kind of sometimes, at least right now, how it works. You know what I mean? It's hard to not pay attention to the negative things instead of the positive things. But James Jones also had a few additional things to add to the conversation.
I think a lot of times people forget that Deandre is an 18-10 player. That's not something that is easily done in this league. I don't think he gets a lot of credit for that. But I do know Frank is very focused on making sure that all of our guys bring their best form to the court, because if they do that, then we put ourselves in a position to win a title.
So again, I think the same thing here with what James is saying about Frank Vogel. Like, let's give those two guys the benefit of a doubt to try and figure out a way to work well together, to get the most out of one another, and give them a little bit of time to kind of work through some of the growing pains that will inevitably come with that. We talked yesterday when we were looking at the depth chart, like that fifth starter, it's going to have some fluidity to it for a while. There's going to be some bumps in the road that this team is going to have to work through. Give DA and Frank Vogel the chance to also work through some of those things as they get to know one another in this new endeavor together. And let's just all, at the very least, we could go in with a positive outlook, right? We could try and will this into existence. We could manifest it. We could, whatever it is your thing is, let's just be positive about it until we're in the thick of it. And then we can go from there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame people for being skeptical. I will say that. I don't think a new coach is going to change how he approaches his role. We've talked about this before. This is a guy that has said in the past, I don't like my big man role. He's a guy that's wanted to take threes. He's wanted to play the 4 spot, even though he doesn't have the shooting or the ball handling to necessarily do those things. So I think it's going to take a lot from Vogel and from Kevin Young to a degree to keep him involved in the offense in ways that maximize what he is really good at and make him feel like he has more of an expanded role at the same time. That's a tough line to walk, especially when you have Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal on the court. Like, those are the guys that need to be taking precedence in this offense. But if they can tap into that, like we've seen how effective he can be on both ends of the court. I don't put much stock in what Jones was saying about he's an 18-10 guy. He's been an 18-10 guy since he came into the league. They've always talked about he could be closer to 25-15 if he really wanted to be. And that's the thing that drives me crazy is, like, you look at the rebounding. Yes, he averaged double-digit rebounds. And then you go through the game log, and some of them are like 14, 13, 15, and some of them are like 5, 6, 7. If he gets that consistency going and it's high end, closer to 11, 12, like, he's capable of being a lot better than what we saw last year. And a lot of that was because there were so many injuries, so many guys in and out. You could talk about the Monty thing and the mental load that added to the equation. I don't know if a new coach is going to change it. I hope that that's the case. I don't blame people for being skeptical at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
I think it could change. I think it could make the world a difference personally.
Well, I mean, certainly having that change and the change in the voice that's constantly talking to you and maybe the situations you're put in, but also in some ways he is what he is too as a basketball player already. We know certain things about him, and at some point we're going to have to accept that too, because guys don't just dramatically change necessarily either.
Right. He's still young, but this is like his 5th season already.
And look, I get it. He makes $33 million a year, and everybody wants to think, well, just because of that, the mindset or whatever should be a certain way. I understand the take. I just, does it all click? Does it change this year? I don't know. And none of us know. And I don't think those comments that he made make a difference either way. Like, I don't think it, I want to figure out, how to fix this. Sure, we've heard things like that before. It doesn't change things one way or another. The only guy that can do that from a basketball perspective is going to be Deandre Ayton. But if he's not in a good headspace, that makes it more difficult.
Yeah. No.
Well, we shall see.
Hopefully year 6 is different, but
Yes.
at a certain point, and we're getting close to that point, I hope that he proves people wrong.
I do too.
Can I address David's, like, if you aren't self-motivated on a max deal, I just don't want you on my team, no matter how much
Talent or size you have.
Look, money doesn't motivate everybody in a certain way. Like that, honestly, I don't come here because of the money. I'm not like, I come here because I love doing this, and I actually took a pay cut to come do this. Some people don't care about the number of zeros on the paycheck, and that doesn't change their mindset necessarily. And you know what? Take that how you will. If you don't like that about a guy making the money, fine. But
I'm all for him maximizing his money. I don't know if that defense necessarily applies to a guy who pushed for the full 5-year max and didn't get it. Like, who understandably wanted his money.
For that, though.
No, I get it. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying I'm not going to go ahead and say, I don't think DA cares about it. He does.
It doesn't necessarily motivate him for the court, though. Of course, we all want generational money that changes our families' lives and changes our kids' lives, and where we don't have to worry about the everyday things of where's the mortgage payment coming from. But I don't know. I do this for cheaper than making millions elsewhere. But I get it. He pushed for the money. He has to live up to that in some ways.
All I know is that if you're feeling some type of way about Deandre Ayton and you want to tweet at him or whatever other form of social media you use, instead of atting DA and putting those negative vibes out there, just go grab yourself a wink. It's a seltzer with just a wink of THC. And they also have CBD, the golden ratio one, because there's an equal dose of CBD in that one as well. And it's balanced, it's light and social, it's bubbly. Who doesn't love bubbles? It'll definitely turn your mood right around. So
that's what turns the mood around.
Get yourself some wink if you're just feeling a little bit of type of way. They're available in either 2.5 milligram or 5 milligram cans. You can find Wink right here in Arizona. So look for Wink at all Sunday Goods dispensaries in the Valley and Botanica Dispensary in Tucson. They're now in 12 states nationwide and even recently launched online ordering and home delivery to about a dozen others. So to find the fastest way to get your hands on one, go to drinkwink.com, and that is WYNK. Yes, I don't know. I think it works.
Can I get some of that wink for the bubbles, please?
It would work well. A seltzer infused with THC and it's bubbly. Come on. Come on. It's like the best worlds of being a grown-up and a kid. I'm just saying. If that's not your thing, though, you can always get on the BetMGM Sportsbook app and just make a whole bunch of great decisions and bet on what was your thing? Was Smash Ball?
Slam Ball, baby.
Slam Ball will turn your frown.
I don't know if they put it in there,
down.
but I'll be watching it tomorrow night And hopefully I can place bets on the MGM Sportsbook app because I don't have to go to some shady website to bet on slam
There you
ball.
go.
So,
If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, make sure you use bonus code PHNX when you do. There's a few different offers depending on where you live. But for our Arizona audience, you place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses with BetMGM. Again, that bonus code is PHNX. You can check out the show notes for full details. And now you can listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 Nevada. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
Gross. All right, we got a couple of super chats. First one is from Pre-Rush. Thank you. Said, we love you, DA. Just play above the rim. All caps.
Yeah.
We'll see, Pre-Rush. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Jay sent us a super chat. Thanks, Jay. Said, Gerald keeps it 100.
Appreciate you, Jay.
Thanks,
I
Jay.
keep it about 50.
Keep it above?
100.
Just $1. That's all you got, Espo? That's all I got today. All right. So in other Deandre in news, he did do some charitable stuff this summer, him and Book as well. I'm sure some others have as well. It's just we have heard about what DA and Devin are doing. So Deandre Ayton did make a $10,000 donation to the Junior Achievements Bahamas for their 2023-24 programming. And Gerald, you tweeted out he'll also partner with the organization on initiatives throughout the fall, supporting students, schools, and teachers across the Bahamas. This is cool. I love this.
Yes, this is awesome. And this is why when we talk about DA and the criticism of him, it always needs to be from a basketball perspective because DA is a good human being.
He's a good dude.
He's a good dude. He's got a big heart. He's a family man. Like he is giving back. I love this. And I'm happy that he was able to give back in this way.
Yeah, I mean, he's done it in other ways here in the Valley too. I get that some of these things are done from a PR perspective, but a lot of these guys do it big hearts. They do it because they care about their home communities in this case and their adopted home communities here in Phoenix as well.
Yeah. And then we also got some cool things from Devin Booker as well. So Kevin Gessner on Twitter tweeted out a big thank you to Devin Booker for coming out to Back to School CD and helping Arizona's kids get ready for the new school year. I have been at multiple events with Book when it comes to like back to school shopping or kids shopping and trying on. He's always in the shoe section. And the one thing I will say that I do appreciate very much about Devin is that he makes sure that the kids are getting shoes that actually fit. Which sometimes it can be
just grab.
Well, it can be so chaotic too, and depending on how old these kids are, they don't know for certain if they're like a 2 or a 3 or a 4 or whatever. And Devin's like, no, but try it on, and then he does the little like toe test to make sure that it actually fits before sending them home because it's important because these kids will be like, oh, I just really like those colors. I'm gonna take these.
Devin, I'm a size 13 when you release the new shoe, and you can come make sure it fits.
But this is cool stuff. Again, no surprise seeing these two out in their communities. Again, whether that's in their home places or here in Phoenix, their adopted homes, they're always doing something, whether that's in the off season or in season as well. So it's just cool to see.
Yeah, and I do want to address the PR thing because somebody in the chat was saying so much PR in regards to the DA stuff, and there was no press release for this from the Suns. I don't even know if the Suns were aware of this until after the fact because I heard from their PR guy after the tweet had already started to circulate from a couple of other very smaller places, Bahama-sourced places. So I just tweeted it out because I thought it was cool. There was no PR release involved with that. And people are going to say what they're going to say about the amount and all this shit, but that's $10,000 they didn't have yesterday, and it's not my money or your money or anybody else's money. So bear that in mind.
Also, like...
But there's no DA hate, by the way. It's just...
It's just like, man,
Donate $10,000.
it drives me nuts because
You literally can't win.
there's a legitimate conversation to be had about the X's and O's, about the basketball stuff, all of that.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to do. But instead we're sitting here wasting our time defending a guy for making a fucking 10K donation and all this other stupid shit about his personality and who he is. And it just drives me nuts because DA is a good human being. And some people just take it way too far with the way that they approach this stuff in general. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. And like, it's not the end of the world to share things that you're doing in the community.
Right.
Like, we do fundraisers for Ryan House, and that's something that's important to me. And like, I shouldn't talk about it.
Right.
Like, if I don't talk about it, nobody's going to know about these things. It's not about getting the pat on the back. It's like, here is an organization that could use some support, and we are doing that. Make sure that you check them out. See if you can support them or find somebody like that in your community that you could also do these type of things for. I don't know. The whole like community relations, charity, donation portion of these things, when people get hate for that, is like, okay, but it still makes a difference.
Like,
it's still beneficial to a lot of people who need it. So
Right.
let's not do this game.
Are you doing your part? Like, what are you doing in your community to make it better?
Well, and look, there's plenty of things that are done behind closed doors too, about that are out of kindness in these things. I had one of our listeners send me a note that Matt Ishbia sent him, like, and it wasn't public. It wasn't some press release. The guy is a big Mercury fan. He and his daughter made shirts for one of their players, Megan Gustafson, and her dog Pancake. And he wrote Ishbia just saying, thank you for what you're doing for the Mercury. And Ishbia wrote him this really nice letter back. Like, it's not all some PR stunt. There's people that actually care and are doing things. And I don't know. I'm very in my feels today on this program, I guess.
Yeah.
You want to turn things around, Espa? I think I have
Please.
something that will cheer you up
there we
quite
go.
a bit.
Please, give me something.
We got...
Is it an ad for the thing with the bubbles again?
No, but I
Wink?
do have an OG's ad coming up. Do you want me to do that first
why
or
don't you
second?
Do OGs first. Make me feel good about OGs.
I'm just kidding.
All right.
We'll get to OGs
All
in a
right.
little bit. But for real, though, exciting times ahead. We got a little sneak peek from Devin Booker on his Instagram
little.
stories.
The
And
smallest.
it's the teeniest tiny peek,
We got a
but we're
number.
getting new uniforms.
See the number?
And
we
the
see a
top.
little bit of purple. And then the one thing that is exciting to people is if you look at the very top corner of the white, he didn't quite cover everything of the image, and it certainly looks like a sunburst is on that jersey. So we're holding on to one up in that top right, little
Okay.
tiny bit.
Yeah.
Right? There's that little bump right
Yep.
under the PayPal logo
Yep.
right there.
There we go.
Listen, you're
Right
going to think
there.
I'm crazy for this, but the biggest thing that stands out to me this picture is Emma, go up. Why is there such a hard cut of carpet?
Yeah.
Where is this? I
That
need
is-
to know.
What?
Like, why is one carpet, one design that is like super loud, and then it's just like a ripped the carpet out and stuck a new slab right there? What is this?
Okay, all the jerseys
What
are,
is this?
all the jerseys are at the arena on level 0, so this must be somewhere in the, because there's no way in hell they let Devin Booker take a new jersey out into the wild. I guarantee
But like,
that.
you just renovated that arena. Who approved this carpet to carpet transition?
It's a good
Who
question.
did this?
Who was in charge of it? Let's run them out of town.
Like, you want to send hate somewhere? Send it to the carpet situation.
Yeah.
It does look like a very weird airport
It's
carpet
so
situation.
weird. I can't get over it. I know
Maybe-
it's the weirdest thing to fixate on with this photo, but my God,
I
it
didn't
stood out
even
like a
notice.
sore thumb, and I cannot unsee it.
I
I
didn't
got
even
it.
notice the carpet.
I got it. It's actually Devin Booker requested a very specific kind of carpet in front of only his locker,
Maybe.
and that's why it looks like that. You do what the man wants, Lindsay.
Oh my God. It's just, I don't know. It drives me crazy. But here's the thing. These uniforms, word on the street is we're going to probably see them in the next week or two
Yes.
at most.
There is a private event for 6-man members taking place Sunday and Monday. And part of the invitation says you are not allowed to bring any camera or any cell phone into this event, and we recommend you leave it at home, not even bring it at all. Which tells me they're showing them something that they don't want out in public.
Right.
Which the only thing that makes sense to that is these new jerseys. I know that the players have already done shoots in them. They've seen them. Obviously, Devin Booker was looking at both of them the other day. He deleted that really quick, too. So I'm guessing somebody...
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah.
He
Somebody
knows
in
what he's doing.
somebody in marketing or somebody else over there went, can we take it down?
Can I just say my favorite jersey leak of all time was Tyler Ulis accidentally sharing them on Instagram stories from the locker room.
Oh, I remember that.
My favorite one of
Forgot
all
about that.
time.
Yeah.
And then I also, like, lesser extent, but I always find it hilarious that Dick's in Fashion Square always leaked jerseys before. They always had the jersey out on a mannequin before the team was able to do, like, the announcement.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, how many years in a row are we going to do this?
Do we
Yeah.
want some Espo story time?
Yeah.
I think it was 2012, 2013 when they came out with those ones that had like the white streaks with the weird half circle and the number.
Mhm. You're talking about the Caron Butlers?
Yeah, the Caron Butler fashion
Yes.
jerseys that I
Yes.
still wish I owned. The only time you ever wore that.
Those were
But anyways,
terrible.
so we go through the whole process. I've seen everything during the designs. The marketing department has kept it under wraps. Nobody's seen anything, right? We're doing a fashion show at Fashion Square. It's all set up. We're going through the history of the jerseys. All the old people, all the old players are coming out. Like there's literally a catwalk to unveil these. And an hour before, somebody who's opening up the merch that they're going to sell at the event itself takes a photo and posts it on Twitter.
no.
And I'm like, all these people's hard work went right out the window because somebody took a photo while opening a damn box.
Oh,
And I felt so bad for the marketing
God.
department because you put so much effort into that, right? You run tease campaigns. You do all sorts of things. You know, you go through the 2 years of iterations on it. And all these things that have symbolism and whatnot, and it just gets the unveil just gets ruined like that.
That's brutal.
Listen, I will say when it comes to jerseys, because Phoenix said, LOL, what's the big deal about leaking a jersey? It's just the amount of work that goes into like creating buzz and marketing stuff and whatnot about it. But I will say one of the biggest things that drives me bonkers about jerseys is how, again, it's just marketing and I understand the reasoning for it, but like the spin of the why behind all the things, like, oh, we specifically chose 3 lines, not just because it made sense and looked good on the design, but because it represents the sun, the moon, and the stars, or
Would you-
some shit.
Would you like
that.
another story, Lindsay?
I mean, I know them, but it's just like that. Like the pattern on the side represents Arizona's history of insert random thing that no Arizona knows anything about here.
Remember those gray ones, the sleeved ones?
No.
I wrote that for
I
that one.
know.
I made up a whole bunch of stuff.
I get it.
The
But it drives me bonkers.
The burnt gray represents the rising of the phoenix
ash.
from the ash in the
Mhm.
desert.
Yeah.
And the western font represents the 1958 Phoenix Giants who won and the Phoenix Suns of the 70s and 80s. It was all bullshit. The marketing department came up with the jersey.
Like-
They're like, Espo, can you help us make this feel like it has meaning?
makes sense, like we saw with the originated
Turquoise,
jersey
yeah.
last year.
Those
If
were
it
good.
genuinely makes sense, I'm on board with it. But to just like pull something out just for the sake of doing it, I'm not on board with.
And sometimes there
Anyway,
are
that was a
sometimes there are
tangent.
details like that Adidas one I mentioned. The number of streaks on purpose that were put on there were the number of people in the Ring of Honor at the time. So there are little details that are thought of by people.
And those things I don't mind. It's when you make something out of nothing
Yeah.
that drives me bonkers. And that happens more often than you would like to think. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now because we did see some potential mock-ups
I
of
do
what
see-
maybe this jersey will look like on the internet.
I do see the irony of showing this after we just talked about leaks ruining something. But based on all the rumors, my friend over at Suns Uni Tracker on Twitter has spent a lot of time putting these together. And this is his best guess as to what each one of these uniforms, the association, and the icon will look like. As we talked about, they can't go back to the original burst because of a contract with Mitchell and Ness, but this is their take on what a modern burst would look like. It's much better than the first one we saw leaked last summer or last spring, whatever it was. That supposedly was one of the original prototype drawings that
But they're
Nike had
so
done.
similar.
Yeah,
it's
but
not like it's drastically different. It's better, don't get me wrong,
it's
but
not
it's
as
not
cartoonish as the other one. I mean, it's a burst. It's close, but it's not the original. But I like the take on it.
Yeah, I like them. I wouldn't mind them. I still think they look a little bit cartoony, but I've gone on the record and saying that the like early 2000s, 90s jerseys were the best jerseys.
Yes,
and
100%.
I mean, the freaking Raptors one had a cartoon dinosaur on the front, and it's still iconic. So like, I don't mind a little cartoon.
My thing is if you're gonna do cartoon, like lean all the way in and give us some of like the OG stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, like if we're gonna go there, just dive in. Let's go there.
Yeah.
Like I don't want the tiptoe. I don't want to test the water. I just want you to jump in cannonball style.
Yeah, I mean, the original Sunburst jersey at the time was called the Lisa Simpson because it looks like her head. I mean, honestly, that was what it was referred to in some league circles. So
that's funny.
If it's going to be cartoonish, it's going to be cartoonish. This is a better step than what we originally saw. These are the kind of things that people will eventually like. If they don't like it now, they will eventually like, especially if the Suns team goes on a deep run.
And it'll always. We know for certain that jerseys always, always, always look better on players.
Yes.
You can't give a full opinion about the jerseys until you see them on an actual athlete.
And like some people still like the Nash era jerseys, which were objectively terrible. But the reason that they like them is because of all the happy memories associated with those teams, with watching them play, with watching them go to the conference finals. If this team wins a championship in those jerseys, you best believe a whole new generation of Suns fans are going to love these jerseys no matter what they look like.
I love that 7 seconds or less team, but still every time I see those uniforms,
They're terrible. They're awful.
One of the best eras in Suns basketball with one of the worst uniforms in sports history.
Yep.
Listen, we're not going to go down this rabbit hole, but I just want to say I've seen a few people in the chat saying that they really hope that the City Edition jersey this year is going to be good. Everything that I have heard is that they're going to be good.
Okay.
So I have not seen them. I've just heard a few things here and there, and I'm very excited to see these ones.
Okay.
I've heard that they're going to be super cool. So,
Lindsay, would you like to write the marketing stuff? I can call up.
I would
people
not.
Over there.
I would not.
No?
No, but thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Everybody
Good looking
deserves
out.
the experience to make bullshit up
This
like
is-
that
listen.
at one time of their life.
We've all
Gerald,
been
I
there.
could get you in on it if you want.
Yeah.
Gerald
perfect.
has done plenty this week with
Not
his
as-
Bol Bol article.
Well, that wasn't
Okay.
bullshit.
No,
Well,
I'm just saying, as far as colorful writing goes, Gerald is maxed out this week. Okay, maybe next
Oh.
week.
I do have to write again tomorrow, but
But is there going to be as many Bol shenanigans in tomorrow's?
no.
Exactly. Exactly.
Are there Eric Gordon puns we can come up with?
He will. If anybody
any
could
good
do it,
ones.
it's Gerald. That's for sure. Sorry, Gerald.
That's fine.
I'm trying. You got to
Gerald's
give me at least a week to be mad about the Bol puns.
Gerald has written enough bullshit all week that he doesn't
Exactly.
need to write any more.
Did you get it, Gerald? Did you get it?
Yeah, Lindsay
Good.
thinks my puns are terrible.
I love your puns.
Just yesterday's. Just yesterday's.
Oh, check out our Twitter later. We're gonna have a super cut of all those puns.
Oh my
You're gonna enjoy.
god, that's probably why I'm mad about it. I wasn't
Yeah.
mad when I came in, but then when I watched that thing that you put
You know
together,
what's-
I was like, "This is ridiculous."
You know what's funny is on the show, I didn't feel like there were too many, and then they put the jump cut together, and it's like a minute and a half long, and that's just from the first like 10 minutes
Yeah,
of the show.
First 23 minutes, an entire 1 minute of it was just puns.
Oh my god! All right, we do have some super chats to get to. Let's read all of these. Let's start with James. So James sent us a couple. Thank you, James.
Thank
we
you,
really
James.
appreciate you. Said, DA is the Kyler Murray of the Suns. And then followed up with, I'm not hating on DA with that super chat. I love both DA and Kyler, but they get blamed because they're paychecks, which is why I said that. Both are great. And then a heart emoji.
Yeah, I think it's the paychecks, and they were both taking number one. There's pressure with being the number one overall pick.
There
if you go
is.
number two, I think we're having a different conversation in some respects.
Yeah.
Because it's not it's the first guy we've ever had number one.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't take so-and-so number one. There's a lot of just inherent weight that comes with going number one in a draft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then we have another one from James said, are we going to see the Aztec City jerseys this year? Those probably my favorite ever.
No. Those were
the turquoise one that was a one. Was that what
no,
we're talking about?
I think he's talking about the one they floated online. The black one. That was just kind of a test
I was
balloon.
like, I didn't think the turquoise.
I liked
ones were,
the look of it, but there
specific.
was a lot of things behind it that needed to be tweaked in order to pay proper homage.
But that was a couple years ago, wasn't it?
Yes.
That is definitely not going to be the city.
No.
This year.
Yeah. No. It's.
I think you'll like it. I think most people will like it.
Yeah. I love how everyone in the chat is roasting me. Like Lindsay's sources, quote, "Trust me, bro."
Hey, big things are coming on the city jersey front.
You
Just
guys
because
realize
I don't say things
Right.
to you here doesn't mean I don't know.
You guys
Shane.
remember she used to work for the organization, right? Like she knows people that
Rude.
work there.
People forget
But
that about
also,
me
just trust
too.
me, bro.
All right.
But would you like me?
But more importantly,
I have
Exactly.
I have a source on it too. Would you like me to spill the tea, or should you just
No,
let them?
no, absolutely
we
not.
will make them wait now.
No, absolutely not.
Sauces are telling me you're gonna like it. You're just gonna have to wait.
Such a turkeys. All right, we got a couple more super chat.
That'll show
Leo
'em.
said, I still can't get over the Phoenix Suns Jr. at LA Fitness. Listen,
Oh, here we go.
oh man,
I have so many rants today, apparently. I'm just gonna it's the stool apparently has become my soapbox for this one.
wonderful.
Here we go.
The fact that you two and your mock-ups yesterday on Twitter have the most votes in the poll as far as what the Suns should do with their G League team makes me so mad.
Okay, don't lump me in with him. First
Like,
of all,
listen.
Because I leaned
because
into tradition here.
yours is a retread. It's
Tradition.
all you did was take a
damn it.
logo that already existed and was like, here, let's do it again. Sean
Yeah.
worked really hard on the dope graphic he put together for my logo. It looks really
I didn't
cool.
say that Sean did a bad job. They're just basic. That's
Yours
all.
is the most basic.
Hold
thing.
on.
It's literally the juniors,
Have you
which
literally
is a basic.
ever heard of a team with that
Hold
name?
on.
Never.
Yes, because
Never.
everyone that
basic.
plays at the YMCA under the Suns
Nope.
Junior program.
Nope. No,
Great fast food
Junior
chain.
Suns.
Oh, same shit.
different
The
thing.
junior of Carl.
it's not the same.
Okay, let me. You besmirch the good people on our Twitter. 591 people have voted.
Mhm.
37% say Espo ain't basic. He's right with the Phoenix Firebirds.
This-
28% thinks Gerald's name is great, and I do too with the Paradise Valley Vipers.
I'm just saying, have a little fun. If you get a G League team, what's the point of having a G League team if you can't have some fun?
If you can't insult the players
I
by
agree
calling them
with
the
that.
Phoenix Suns Junior.
I was surprised
No.
the aliens got as few votes.
Oh, yeah.
Same.
But it also may be too far out there. Like
So
Arizona's not known for its aliens. Like that's Roswell, New Mexico. If we're gonna be honest.
This
Phoenix
is
Suns
fair.
Junior 20%, and the Arcosante.
Arco Santi.
And that's why nobody can say the damn city name and they don't know where it is.
Santi.
Arco Santi aliens got 15%.
Maybe
just
he
saying.
might be higher if he'd have just done like Awatuki aliens.
Yes,
instead.
Maybe.
I think it's
Maybe.
location and not name.
It might be.
No, it's all name.
It might be.
It's all name. It had
No,
nothing to do with the location. It's all the name, in my opinion. Anyway,
It's why you have 20%.
That's why the juniors has 20%.
That's
bro,
why Gerald and I won.
I'm not even gonna fight with you. I just know. I know deep down, mine's more fun than yours. And that's
Gerald,
all that matters.
I like you so much. I'm going to give my 38% to you, and you can just have the giant victory over the two of them.
There
That's
we
fine.
go. Okay, I'll live with that. I don't think that's how the voting works, but I'll take it.
I mean, why not?
Anything's possible. I'll call up Elon. He'll fix
Apparently,
it.
I'm the one who needs the OGs today because I am just real bothered by
Cranky.
everything right now. I should go pick up some of their brand new pink lemonade gummy. I've
There you
heard
go.
it is an absolutely fantastic flavor.
Mhm.
But the thing is, you guys, it's a limited edition drop flavor. So make sure you get your hands on it sooner rather than later. OGs, they're all about flavoring life. And they make it so easy with the wide variety of flavors and functions. So no matter what it is that you're looking for or you need, OG's has a gummy for it. You can check out OG's online at ogsbrands.com or on Instagram at ogsbrands. You can also find their products at your local dispensary, but you must be 21 years or older to purchase. I either need OG's or I'm just getting hangry and I need to go to Illegal Pete's and get myself a bowl, because Illegal Pete's is your go-to spot this summer. You guys know I like the bowl with steak and double corn. You got to get double corn for sure. Their corn is top notch. Absolutely love it. But at Illegal Pete's, you can kick back and enjoy an ice cold margarita or cool off with a bucket of high noons. Right now, 5 high noons for just $22. Also, don't forget to follow them at Illegal Pete's on Instagram to stay updated with all their big events and deals going down this summer. Stay tuned to their stories to win free tickets to the concerts you are dying to see. Illegal Pete's is here to make this summer one for the books. Okay, couple more super chats. Emma, what we got here? Zach, thank you so much for your super chat. Said G League team name idea, Paradise Valley Boys, and give them the Valley jerseys. Who says no?
I'm kind of about it.
I'm not
going
gonna-
Emma, why are you shaking your head no? I kind of like it.
Because I just like the bad connotation with adding boys at the end.
Valley Boys.
But Valley Boys was really inclusive.
Okay.
It was. Kelly Oubre
Except for the
literally went
girls.
out of his way. He went out of his way to whenever referring to
know.
Valley Boys, he always added and girls at the end.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it started out from a really good place as far as like all that type of stuff. So you don't have to worry about
And
it.
I'm okay with that change because someone in the chat brought up, I forgot about this, the Rio Grande Valley, their team is the Vipers in the G League. So there's already a Vipers that's like right next door.
There,
So-
eliminated.
Okay, so more for me. All right. There were two suggestions in our Discord. By the way, if you're not already a PHNX diehard, go to phnx.com and sign up today. You get access to our Discord, which is my favorite place to talk Suns basketball. There were two suggestions: the Gilbert Gorillas with a sun as the mascot. I thought that was pretty good. Somebody said I missed the obvious one that I should have gone with, and I should have called them the Phoenix Outlaws and gone with that.
I need the alliteration. You got to do Awatuki Outlaws for me.
I mean, that's fine.
But
I'm
yeah,
all right.
I
there.
like that.
But so I want to give a shout out to the Discord because they had some fun with that yesterday.
I like the Gilbert Gorillas, but only if you spell gorillas with a Z at the end, because then you got AZ in there at the end. It's close. It's similar to Valley Boys, Gorilla. I like that.
I just love the idea of the sun as the mascot.
Well,
So
yeah,
like, why is the sun the
It would
mascot
have
for the
to
gorilla?
be complete opposite of what
Well.
it is now. Like it's the only way that would make any sense.
Or what if we incorporate your idea and it's like, you know how they bring out the big inflatable gorillas and there's the one big gorilla and there's the one junior gorilla? Their mascot could be the little junior gorilla. See? All comes full circle.
What is his name?
Uh,
He has a name, and
it's
I
not
can't
Little
remember
Go.
what it is. No, I feel like he has a name. I can't remember what it is, but
They
it's
do. They both
not
do
really that
have
big of a deal.
names, but I forgot what
It's
they are.
on their jerseys,
Yeah.
on the back of their
Harry-
jerseys.
Chat, if you remember.
It's Harry and
Is it Harry?
Harry's the big one.
Harry Gorilla?
and I don't remember
Real
what the
original,
little one
guys.
is.
I know.
Yeah. I do
Listen.
like Michael P says
Exactly the same way the Vipers is real original, huh, Gerald?
That is a dope logo. Objectively cool.
Actually, you know what?
Same with you, Espo.
PV Vipers.
I actually think
So original.
Oh no, we had the Phoenix Cobras was a professional roller hockey.
Oh,
team.
Cobra Kai.
I'm gonna
Somebody
be
in the
so
chat
upset all
said
day now.
Phoenix Lights.
Harrison.
Harrison.
Harry and Harrison.
There
yes.
you go.
Somebody said Phoenix Lights, which I don't know if you guys probably are too young to remember this, but in the 90s there was these lights that everybody thought was a UFO, and it was referred to as the Phoenix Lights. I kind of like that. You could do something cool with that.
Okay. All right. A few more super chats, then we'll
The
move on to
suns
our
and the
next
lights.
topic here. So this one comes from Psycho Blue. Thank you, Psycho Blue. We appreciate you. Said, Ayton has been given the golden ticket. I believe in DA. He just needs a coach who doesn't take it personally. DA can't marry his daughter.
Oh, man.
Who doesn't take it personally that DA can't marry his daughter? Dang. Psycho Blue.
Oh, tisk. I finished your sentence for you because I knew that's where you were going with
Do you
it.
think Monty specifically told DA, "You will never marry my daughter. Landry will"? Like,
Oh, my
and
God.
that's what started it.
I'm sure that's what happened.
I don't know, but that's really funny. James, thank you for your super chat. We appreciate you. Said, speaking of G League teams and other Suns growing up is realizing Robert Sarver focused on the Mercury more than the Suns. Speaking of G League teams and other Suns growing up.
He's saying growing up is realizing that Robert Sarver focused on the Mercury more than the Suns.
I can tell you, he didn't focus on either. He focused on how fat that wallet was getting.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree that he focused more on the Mercury than the Suns. I think
he cared less and involved
I think he cared more about
less.
his profit and ego than anything, to be completely honest. And I think that when those two things are what your only motivations are, you're going to have issues owning a sports franchise.
Yeah. Right. I think he stayed out of the Mercury more than he did with the Suns. Plus, when you look at the payroll, the Mercury and the WNBA in general, the payroll is so much smaller than anything that it probably never even crossed his mind what they were spending there, because it was a drop in the bucket compared to the other things he was spending.
And also, when you really think about it too, I mean, they had, I know it came out recently that the Mercury have hired a new GM because their former GM has chosen to retire after this season. But I always found that a little bit odd that you had a general manager of a franchise that had a second job, basically. And it wasn't like, and this is no shade to him whatsoever. It's just, you can't put all of your energy into one when you have two full-time, very involved jobs. One of them is going to suffer. And I would assume that because one was financial and one was not, that the one that is not financial is the one that probably took a backseat.
Yeah, Jim Pittman is the GM of the Mercury.
Great guy. I'm not throwing shade whatsoever as far as that.
But he's the chief financial officer of the Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury and GM. So what it tells you is, I think Robert viewed that as an accounting job in being the GM of the Mercury, not more than that. And they have a great organization, and they all did a great job to put it together. I don't think Robert Sarver had much of anything to do with it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway,
how do we keep going back to that guy? I don't want to talk about him anymore. He is no longer our problem.
True. Let's move on. Bruce
Brown.
To what?
Well, I was going to say he might be a problem, but second segment, he might be a little bit of a problem for us. The first one, though, we really like. Bruce Brown, of course, said some glowing things about Devin Booker during the playoffs.
They were shooting so efficiently.
Book was making
it was
every
it
shot.
was it was getting crazy, bro.
He was making every shot.
Like, it was to the point they should have drug tested him because it was getting crazy.
It was
bro.
insane.
He missed like 4 shots in 2 games.
Did you see his shot?
Yes.
It was all green.
It was
and to put
nuts,
all green,
bro.
like, that's crazy. He's taking 20 shots a game?
I mean, I love that. Give flowers to Book. Players will always give flowers to Book. That's not something we really have to worry about.
Is that really praise or just factual? I mean, he made a shot. It's like
Yes, but bringing it up in the off season on a podcast is giving praise.
When you package it with the next thing we're going to listen to.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of agree with you on that point. I do think players are a lot more prone to give Book praise, especially after that 2-game stretch in particular, where he shot 34 for 43 from the field, which was just absolutely stupid. Something we hadn't seen out of a player like that. But yeah, he kind of ruined it with some of the other comments.
He walks it back real quick here in a second.
Is it walking it back or is it balancing out?
It's feeding into the narrative.
Listen, I have to give Book credit, but I also can't give them that much credit because then it'll turn things around.
In a way, it's feeding into the narrative that Nuggets fans have concocted that no, the Suns weren't our toughest series because if Devin Booker doesn't go out of his mind in those 2 games, we probably sweep them or win in 5, which is dumb because if is, as Book said it best in regards to ifs, but I don't know. I feel like this is exactly.
We'd all be drunk.
Yes, I feel like it's feeding into that idea that Book played out of his mind. Give him his props, but he had a great 2 games, and if he hadn't, we would have swept him, like that type of thing.
And
It's a playoff game.
If Jokic had broke his leg in April, the Suns would be champions.
Yeah.
What is that? Like,
Well, listen, here's what he said. Here's where it was like, let's throw a little bit of shade while we're here.
Phoenix was our toughest series.
Yeah. Damn. Toughest.
But I would say, honestly, our toughest series was
Lakers.
No. Minnesota.
Why?
I don't know. And them, it was just always like that. They just had, I don't know.
They were
It
a
was just something
big-ass
about
team.
them. Yeah, I mean, they had
big-ass
good
team.
players. Like, it was Mike Conley,
Sure.
Cat, Ant. Like,
Yeah.
I think that was our toughest series. I mean, Phoenix, it was just blowouts each game. I mean, Minnesota was just
I thought all the Lakers games were close though.
yeah, but it never felt like we were gonna lose
I feel that.
any game.
I feel that.
Even when they went on a little run, like Austin Reeves was hitting threes, and
Yeah.
it never felt like, oh, we're about to lose.
We're gonna take care of this shit.
So if you're listening to this on audio, both times that toughest were said, it was in using air quotes, just so you get like a full context of it. My favorite part of this was when he said Minnesota is just why?
Why?
Because I think everyone collectively was like, what?
Yeah, it's a weird take. I know if you're going through the Nuggets schedule toward the championship, like all of the Lakers wins except for one were by single digits, and all of the wins against the Suns were by double digits. But like game 2 was a close game until the very end when they pushed it to 10. The last 2 were obviously blowouts, and the first one was a blowout. But they also lost 2 games to the Suns. They didn't lose 2 games to anybody else. It's just a weird take to me.
why does listening to that make me feel like I got kicked in the head by one of Nikola Jokic's horses? Like, it does not make sense.
Yeah.
It does not compute. Like,
I think it was just that, like, I gave Book too much credit. Now I got to bring it back down to earth. And also, like, regardless of what team you're on now, like, you still have the beef will always between the cities as far as fan base goes. And especially since it's just right after we're a couple months removed at this point, it's still fresh.
yeah, but he's in Indiana now making
It
boatloads
doesn't
of money.
matter though,
like-
because it's still that's his championship, and the Suns. There was a
Yeah.
narrative there, and you're still gonna feel that way.
As a competitor, you carry that with you individually, even if
Yeah.
you're not still on that team anymore, because that was a moment in time where you were competing with that group of guys, and like that was your opponent, that was your target.
Here-
So
Here's-
Priscilla said Bruce Brown out there gaslighting now. LOL.
Here's your facts. It was a tied series at 2-2. If that wasn't your toughest series when you only lost 1 game to anybody else, I don't know what you're talking about, Bruce Brown.
And I like him too, so that's like the frustrating part is like, what do you mean?
well, look, guys are gonna say shit based on how they feel, and they're not gonna admit it, but they are. Like Scottie Pippen out here talking about how MJ was not a good player before he came along.
Yeah, but
Completely
MJ's son is
asinine.
with his ex-wife. I understand that from a mental
there's-
perspective.
But his beef with MJ started long before that. It started the moment The Last Dance started airing, and then he had
but you know who was
he
the
was-
guy in all of that?
who?
Dennis Rodman. Without Dennis Rodman, none of it even matters.
Hey,
Well, that's not remotely true.
I understand Scotty went over
I
that.
just figured if we're gonna throw them both out there, why not add in Dennis Rodman, who is definitely the most entertaining of them all.
I just feel like Scotty went over that cliff all the way once his ex-wife was with Jordan's son. Then he was like, Jordan just sucked.
He had already been falling down that cliff.
But he fully committed.
It was at that point he just swan dived into it. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just saying these guys all have personal feelings about teammates, guys they played against,
Fan
and it's
bases.
always going to cloud their judgment more than they're ever going to admit.
Scotty out here saying, I've always been helping the Jordan score. All right?
Oh God.
Come on, man. You need Jesus.
I need something. We got into that bubbly stuff? No?
Gerald, I'm still sick. You can't make me laugh like that. I'm gonna start wheezing.
Oh no, it happened.
Oh my God, that was funny. All
Man.
right.
Did you just type something on your keyboard that
Did
showed
I?
up in the chat?
I did.
She's coughing so hard she's typing in the chat. All right.
Oh man.
I can't breathe.
Oh no, I
Well,
killed.
that's been another episode of the PHNX. Oh, we got 2 more things.
I killed Lindsay.
You know what?
I can't breathe.
If you can't breathe, but you want something good to drink, Four Peaks has got you covered. The best craft beer in Arizona is Four Peaks. And you can get over to their 8th Street pub and get some of the best food possible, too. My favorite beer is the Tea Shot. I want you to go over there and check that out. And, Lindsay, tell them where they can actually check out Four Peaks and find out more information.
At Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub. To keep up with the latest in Arizona's hometown brewery, must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks and drink responsibly. Like, it's been a struggle all week. Every time I laugh, I inhale, and it gets way worse because I still got all that stuff working its way out from last week. You trying to kill me, Gerald? Jeez.
Sorry.
Aggressive.
The next ad is God.
Are you a
Espo
big-
needs it.
Are you a big Guns N' Roses fan?
I mean,
Slash in the chat.
And I fixed it.
And
She's
we're
back. Now she can breathe again.
Just
now
had
she's
to
just
unplug
angry.
and replug it.
Just had to reset there.
Yep, there we go.
Oh my god.
She's like, okay, no, wait. His jokes are terrible. We're back.
Triple B says, Lindsay needs a Polar Pop.
Oh my god, I do. But the next ad read is not Circle K. It is Shady Rays, which is what I've been throwing at you guys all week. So it's only fair that I had a little like wheezing fit to balance things out again. But our friends over at Shady Rays, they've got gear that is built to last. We're talking premium polarized shades, and exclusively for all of you, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com. Use code PHNX for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
People are putting slashes in
I
the
know,
chat
you
now.
guys are so funny.
Lindsay about to turn into Wheezy from Toy Story.
Oh my god. I mean, it was funny. I'm not gonna lie, it was funny. We do have one more super chat to read. James, thank you again. We appreciate you. Said Mercury has 3 chips to the Suns 0. All 3 were under Robert. Just saying. Suns also went 11 straight seasons under 500.
I mean, that's fair. And like the way that the guy was siphoning off draft picks for cash like 4 straight years during the peak of Nash's time there, that obviously hurts. But I do think just the fact that there are fewer teams in the WNBA probably plays a factor into that a little bit. The fact that they got Diana Taurasi, who's the greatest player of all time. If the Suns had had Michael Jordan during that stretch, maybe they would have won a title as well.
There's a hard salary cap in the WNBA.
That
so
too.
she's made
And the amount
next
of
to
money
nothing.
that is needed, like, we're not going to open the can of worms, but just from a numbers perspective, the amount of money needed to spend in the W to win versus to spend in the NBA to win is different.
Right.
And if you want to play this game, 2 of the best 4 Sun seasons in history were while Robert was owning the team. It doesn't mean the product, the play on the court isn't always a direct correlation to the guy signing the checks.
Yeah.
Just more often than not, it was. All right.
And also, like, let's be honest, to win a championship in any league, you also have to have a little bit of luck on your side. And that's not to discredit what the Mercury or any other team has done, but the cards do have to fall your way to an extent, whether that's injury based or officiating based or whatever
Non-suspension based,
whatever shenanigans we've all had to deal with over the last however many years. You gotta get a little luck.
Or maybe it's you had the best women's basketball player of all time on your team.
Yeah, that helps too.
It does.
The
It definitely
GOAT.
helps. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys. You guys ready to say goodbye?
I've got another 35 minutes if you're ready.
No.
I don't know. I'm hot now
all
after
right.
that,
Yeah,
like
let's
not
go.
being able to breathe for a 3-minute
Let's
period.
go.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. We do appreciate your support. If you are here on YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up on your way out. If you are listening wherever you get your podcast, make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. We appreciate it very much. And of course, we will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m., so plan to come hang out with us then. And until then, you can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. And you can follow Espo at Espo. Espo, take us home.
Ladies and germs, give it up for our new host, Slash. Ahoy, hoy.
Hey, yo, my lifestyle is retro. Tell the Phoenix Metro. Megas in control and he ain't never gonna let go. PHNX though, Lindsay, Gerald, Espo. Saw past the ball, we here to turn up the tempo. Got to understand me, I'll always rep the...